The following is a class on the Bhagavad Gita as it is, second chapter, text number 13 through 17, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on November 25th, 1968, in Los Angeles.
Soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth and then to old age. Similarly, the soul also passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. Purport. Since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body at every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man, although the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. The individual soul finally changes the body itself in transmigrating from one to another, and since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, either over Bhisma or over Drona, for whom he was so concerned. Rather,
now, this simple fact, as it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, that dehinasmin jatha dehi kumara jovanangjara, the change of body is taking place every moment. Every moment. There's this child. The child, if there is some measuring instrument, if you measure this child today, tomorrow you'll find the child has grown or changed the body. That is a medical science also. The body is changing. The body is changing, but the soul is there. Just like I had my childhood body, boyhood body, and now I am in a different body, but I remember all the activities of my childhood. Therefore I am permanent. And body is changing. This simple truth, what is the difficulty for the people to understand? This simple truth. The body is changing, but I am not changing, I am eternal. Therefore I am not this body. I am not changing. This simple truth, the first instruction of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has begun instructing Arjuna after Arjuna has accepted his discipleship. The first instruction is this, that you are lamenting on the body of your grandfather and teacher regarding fighting, but your grandfather or the soul, which is already explained, that you as soul, I am as the Supreme Soul, or all these kings and soldiers who have assembled, they are also souls. They existed in the past. Now they have changed their body. Again they will change their body, but they will exist. This is the instruction. The body is changing, and the vivid example that in this life we are changing body. So what is the difficulty of understanding the simple truth that the soul is different from the body? And so far eternity of the soul, that is also there is proof, because in childhood I was present, in boyhood I was present, in youthhood I was present, and in this old age I am still present. So naturally it is concluded that when I change this body, I exist. When I change this body will be changed. Tatha dehantarang prapti. As the parents of this child, now she is say 1 feet long only, When this child will grow 5 feet long, the father and mother, will they cry, "Oh, my child, where is my child, that 1 feet long?" He knows, the parents know that my child is there. Change the body. This is a fact. Similarly, you are lamenting on the body of your grandfather and teacher. Even they change their body, what is the cause of lamentation? They will exist. This is the beginning of instruction of Bhagavad Gita, or spiritual instruction. Unless one understands this simple fact that the soul is different from this body, the soul is eternal, the body is temporary, changing, because without understanding this, there is no spiritual education. A false education. If one identifies with this body, there is no understanding of spiritual knowledge. So the yogis, they are trying to come to this point by meditation, whether I am this body or not. Meditation means that first meditation, concentration of the mind, the different kinds of sitting posture, that helps me to concentrate my mind. And if I concentrate my mind, meditation, am I this body? Then, if I am not this body, where I am in this body? Then if he analyzes, he will find himself within this heart. Within this heart, the soul is also there, and the super soul is also there. Krishna is also there. So, the perfectional stage of yoga is to see the super soul and understand oneself that I am individual soul. So that perfectional stages we are immediately offering, that you try to see Krishna always, Krishna consciousness. The yogis are trying to reach a platform after so much exercise of the body. We are giving that thing immediately. That be Krishna conscious. You are eternal, part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is the super soul. Why should you take so much botheration to find him within? He is without also. He is all powerful. He can accept your offerings and you can take prasadam. This is practical yoga. So we are not beginning from the gross stage. The Bhagavad Gita, although it is ABCD of spiritual instruction, it begins from that stage, which stage the Jnanis, the philosophers and the yogis, they are trying to reach. But we have no time. In this age, by yoga practice, to come to this stage that I am not this body. Ask any student who are practicing yoga, so-called meditation, they are inclined to this body. They are trying to exercise this body and they think this is the final. No. The simple truth, very simple truth, Krishna as the supreme authority presenting very simply, Dehinasmin jata dehi tomara yoganaya. As in this body there are different changes. Similarly, the ultimate change is called death. But the spirit soul, as he is existing within this body in spite of all changes, similarly the spirit soul will continue to exist even after the final change of this body. This simple truth. Try to understand this. This is the basic principle of further progress. If one does not understand this point of view, there is no progress. This is ABCD. That I am not this body.
Rather, you should rejoice that they're changing bodies from old to new ones.
Now here is another argument that why you are going to lament on the body of your grandfather, his grand old man. If he does not die, if you do not kill him, how long he will live? So you kill him or not kill him, he will die. And you should be rather joyful because your grandfather is going to have again, this is only for argument, again have a new body. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Chand Kaji, I think I have explained this story many times. Chand Kaji was Mohammedan. So, you know the story that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started civil disobedience, disregarded the section, imposed by the magistrate Chand Kaji that you cannot hold the Sankirtan. The people are disturbed just like you are being threatened by the police. This is not new thing. This thing is going on from the very beginning, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disregarded the notice, don't care for this notice, gone. And when people, he was very popular, but we are not popular. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna. He had attraction. He was although a boy of 20 years old. He had many followers. He ordered, Kaji has ordered to stop. Now I order that hundreds of thousands of people shall assemble this night and we shall go to the Kaji's house. This is civil disobedience. So people agreed. And there are hundreds of thousands of mridanga and hundreds of thousands of people, and they chanted and crossed the whole street, don't care for any police action. And the Kaji saw, it is a mass movement. He was afraid. You see? When any movement is taken by the people, then the government becomes afraid. Just like the Mariana movement. Now there is no more legal action. The government cannot do it because all people are taking to Mariana. You see? What is the Mariana or marijuana? Marijuana. So you make this marijuana taken by all people, then police will be afraid. You see? They will not dare to stop you. So when there was talk with Kanji, Chand Kaji was learned man. So first of all, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu challenged my dear uncle. He established the relation to pacify Chaitanya. My Nimai, he called just like a boy. He was a boy. Nimai, your grandfather, Nilamba Chakravarti, I call him Chacha. Chacha means uncle. The Muslims, they call. In India, these British have created a feelings between Hindus and Muslims, but otherwise The Hindus and Muslims are living since 8 centuries. So in the village they live peacefully, and the Hindus call the Muslim Chacha, and the Muslim call and the Hindus call the Muslim. In this way they make some friendly relationship. There was no ill feeling. Even they will invite, the Hindus will invite. In our childhood we have seen, in marriage ceremony or in some religious ceremony also, some Muslim friends were invited and they are received. Similarly, Muslims also invite some Hindus. They will make separate. My father used to be guest of a Muslim gentleman. He was his customer. So he used to make separate arrangement, my father, a Brahmin attendant, and supplying all food stuff. So there is no, and he was coming to our house, so he accompanied with his servant Muslim, so he used to supply his food stuff. They were cooking in their own way. Of course no meat was allowed, but they were all friendship. And while departing, he would give us some money, 4 rupees, 5 rupees, in the hands of all our brothers and sisters, and offer respect to my mother as auntie. These feelings were there. This ill feeling was created by the Britishers. That when they saw the Gandhi is improving the Hindu-Muslim situation, they created what is called a split. Anyway, that is political. So this Chandkaji informed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai, I call your grandfather, your mother's father, as my chacha, as my uncle. So in that way, your mother is my sister, according to our village relationship, and you are my nephew. So how is that a nephew is so much angry upon his uncle? Is it not good? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that he has come down. He has now become uncle. So he said, yes, my dear uncle, I know that. It is not my duty to be angry with you. But how is that? I am your nephew, I have come to your home, and you went upstairs, you did not receive me. So anyway, what is done is done. Forget. So then they sat down and talked. The first challenge was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, that, my dear uncle, what is your this religion that you are eating father and mother? That was his first challenge. The Kaji said, what is that? What do you mean by that? No, you are eating a bull and cow. Cow is your mother. You are drinking milk, therefore she is your mother. And the bull is helping you, producing your food, maintaining. As the father maintains you, and mother gives you milk, and do you think it is good to kill them? Wow. So, Kaji, he was also learned. Oh, your Vedic scripture, also there is cow sacrifice. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said, no, that is not killing. That was giving a new body to show the strength of the Vedic mantra. A cow was sacrificed in the fire, and by mantra, by chanting of the mantra, the cow will come out with a new body, young body. That was not killing. So similarly, here also, Krishna is giving the same argument, that you are lamenting on your grandfather. He has got old body, but if he is killed in this battle, he will have a fresh new body. So you should be joyful. Why you are lamenting? So this argument was forwarded by Krishna that now, just like this child can hope many things. He has got immense duration of life now beginning. And what hope I have got? I am now this old body. Say 5 years or 10 years more. So, I cannot expect, hope anything more than this child. So Krishna is giving, there is no question of lamentation for your grandfather. Your grandfather is going to have a new lease of life. So why should you be sorry? So this argument is forward. But nobody will agree to this argument. Yes, gone.
Such changes of body are meant for varieties of enjoyment or suffering by the living entity, according to one's own work in this life. So Bhisma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have either spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in godly bodies.
Yes. Now, so far your grandfather is concerned, Bhishma Dev, he is one of the greatest devotees. So as soon as he gives up this body, he is going to Vaikuntha. Same example as I told you the other day, that Muniputra Majiva Muniputraka. Chirang Jiva Rajaputra. Oh, the son of saintly person, you don't live. And oh, the son of a king, you live forever. Why? Because the son of a saintly person, he is undergoing austerities, penances, disciplinary activities. So his life, his future is so bright that he is going to Vaikuntha. And this, the son of king, is simply indulging in sense gratification, so he is going to hell. So the person who is destined to go to kingdom of God, the sooner he dies is better for him. And this person, one who is going to hell, the later he dies, it is good for him, because as soon as he dies, the hell is prepared for him. But similarly, why should you lament for your grandfather and teacher? They are so highly elevated, spiritually elevated. Death will take place so long this body is there. Now they have come to fight as a matter of duty. So there is no lamentation. This is the instruction Krishna is giving. Yes.
In either case, there was no cause for lamentation. Any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of individual soul, the supersoul, and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a dhira, or a most sober man.
Dhira. Dhira means is not disturbed. A person who is not disturbed by paltry causes, he is called dhira. Another example of dhira is given by poet Kalidas. He was a great poet, mundane poet. So he said that dhira is one who is not disturbed even in the presence of disturbance. When there is no disturbance, one may not be disturbed. But in the presence of disturbance, one who is not disturbed, he is called dhira. The cause of disturbance. Just like a person trained in restriction of sex life. So, when he is perfect, even there is cause of sex impetus, he will not be disturbed. That is the cause, dhira. So, he is describing that these persons are highly elevated. You are also my friend. Why you are disturbed? in this way. Oh, that does not look well. Go on.
Such a man is never deluded by the change of bodies by the living entity.
Yes, a man is crying, oh, my father is dead, or my friend is dead, my son crying. But one who is dhira, he knows, oh, what is this death? He has changed his body. So there is no question of lamentation. So how much spiritual education is required to come to this point? Yes, go on.
O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of heat and cold, happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception, or sign of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Now the question is, yes, I understand that my grandfather is spirit soul and this body is material. Still, by nature I will be unhappy. If my grandfather is killed and my teacher is killed, I will be unhappy. So Krishna is instructing Arjuna that this kind of unhappiness, distress is this world. You cannot avoid. These are necessary distresses. The example is giving that severe cold in the winter season, in the month of January or some month, the winter is very severe, intolerable. Sometimes, somewhere it is below 30 degrees, 0. But what is to be done? The people in such part of the world who live, just like in Canada, it goes sometimes 30 degrees below 0. Or does it mean that they will close their offices and work and everything? No. Everything is going on as usual. One has to tolerate, that's all. In India also, India and other parts of the eastern countries, just like Arabia, Iraq, or during summer time, the temperature is 135. You cannot imagine. 135. In India we have experienced temperature, I have experienced up to 118 degrees. Not always, unusually. But 110 degree is usual during summer time. 110 degree. Usual temperature. So does it mean the scorching heat, you cannot get out on the street, but still one has to go to office, one has to go to work. There are some cases of heat stroke. Still nobody can stop his duty. Similarly, even if you think that by discharging your duty as a warrior, as a Kshatri, your grandfather will be killed, of course there is no cause of lamentation, he will get another new body. But even if you think, if your bodily concept is so strong, if you are sorry, so you have to, tolerate. Just one has to tolerate extreme heat and extreme cold. So there is no cause of crying, oh, there is extreme heat, extreme heat. What do you do? That is nature's law. Extreme heat, everyone is cooking. Nobody says, oh, today is extreme heat, I cannot cook. No, everybody is cooking, although there is suffering. Similarly, there is extreme cold, but everyone is taking bath in the Ganges. Nobody says, oh, I will not take bath. So duty has to be done. There may be some suffering temporarily, even though Krishna never says, though, my dear Arjuna, you are my friend, all right, you are feeling so much sorry, all right, I shall do it for you. You sit down, silent. No, Krishna never says that. You have to do it. Although he says that this battle is arranged by me, they are already killed. Nobody is going back. Still, you have to do it. So our duty, persons who are Krishna consciousness, engaged in Krishna consciousness, they should always know that everything is to be done by Krishna. We cannot do anything without Krishna's sanction. But still we have to do our own duty. It's not that, Krishna will do everything, therefore we shall not try for a storefront, or we shall not go to see this man, Krishna. No, that is lethargy. You have to do your own duty. But result depend on Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. You don't be sorry if there is failure. You don't be unhappy if there is success. You don't be too much, jubilant if there is success. Everything is done by Krishna. This is the attitude of Krishna consciousness. They have to do their own duty. Never mind whether it is suffering or happiness. Doesn't matter.
O best among men, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, and is steady in both, is certainly eligible for liberation.
Yes. This is the sign, characteristics or symptoms of a person who is going to be liberated in this life. He has to do his duty. So far we are concerned, we have accepted Krishna consciousness duty, so we have to execute our duties faithfully and seriously. Then it is sure Krishna will give us the desired result. A nice example is given, just like a girl is married to a boy. Generally, girls desire a child. So, if she, after the marriage, if she immediately wants a child, that is not possible. But because she is married, and if she serves faithfully her husband is pleased and there is love, in due course of time there will be child. Why? There is hesitation. There will be child. Similarly, if we have taken to Krishna consciousness, if we discharge our duties faithfully, then in due course of time Krishna will give the desired result. Don't be hesitant. Don't be doubtful. It is sure. Krishna says that taktadehang punarjanma naiti mamiti kaunteya. Anyone who is in Krishna consciousness perfectly, for him, after leaving this body, he is coming to me. This is his assurance. So, we haven't got any doubt. Krishna is assured. So let us do our duty perfectly, as far as possible. We cannot execute anything perfectly in presence of Krishna, because he is infinite, we are finite. Our energy, our talent, everything is finite. But if we try our best, then bhavagrahi janardana. Krishna sees only how much sincere I am, how much sincerely I am executing the duties entrusted upon me. That's all. Otherwise, it is not in our power to serve Krishna perfectly. That is not, because we are very teeny. But be assured that the desired result will come if we act sincerely to the point. Yes.
Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent there is no endurance, and of the eternal there is no cessation. Seers have concluded this by studying the nature of both. Purport. There is no endurance of the changing body, that the body is changing every moment by the actions and reactions of different cells is admitted by modern medical science, and thus growth and old age are taking place. But the spiritual soul exists permanently, remaining the same in all changing circumstances of the body and mind. That is the difference between matter and spirit. By nature the body is ever changing, and the soul is eternal. This conclusion is established by all classes of seers of the truth, impersonalist and personalist.
So far, the constitution of the spirit is concerned, it is eternal. That is accepted by all philosophers, personalists and impersonalists. The only difference is that impersonalist says that after liberation, after getting freed from this bodily contamination, the spirit soul mixes with this supreme soul, all-pervading, without any individual existence. Just like the same example, that the small sky within the pitcher, when the pitcher is broken, the small sky within the pitcher mixes with the big sky. The Vaishnava philosopher says that the small sky is individual. It mixes with the big sky, but it keeps its individuality. The example is given in this connection, just like a green bird entering a green tree. So when the bird enters the tree, nobody can find out where is the bird, because the leaves of the tree are green and the bird is also green. Nobody can trace out. But that does not mean the bird has lost its individuality. The individuality is there. Just like you see one airplane is flying in the air, and when it goes too far, it appears that it has disappeared. It seems to us that there is no more that aeroplane. It has mixed with the sky. But actually it is not. It is still there, individual existence. It is my ignorance that I see that it is no more separate. It is as mixed with the sky. Just like in the daytime, we don't find any star in the sky. Due to the dazzling sunshine, we cannot see any stars. At night, we can see millions of stars there are. Similarly, that is the impersonalism and personalism. One whose knowledge is not perfect, they think impersonal. Everything homogeneous. Although one whose knowledge is perfect, the Vedas also confirm it, just like in the Ishopanishad, there is a verse in which it is stated that please withdraw your effulgence so that I can see your real face. Just like the sun globe, you cannot see perfectly due to the dazzling sunshine. But the sun globe is there, and in the globe there are living entities, and there is a principal head man, the God. They are not man because their body is made of fire. So, similarly, the first impersonal impression, Brahma, then farther advanced, super soul, and when farther advanced, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Sabrati. First realization, Brahma, impersonal. The second realization is Paramatma, super soul. And the last realization is the personal form of God, Krishna.
In the Vishnu Puranam, also this truth has been established. It is stated there that Vishnu and his abodes all have self-illuminated spiritual existence. The words existent and non-existent refer only to spirit and matter. That is the version of all series of truth. This is the beginning of the instruction by the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. Removal of this ignorance means re-establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable, and the consequent understanding of the difference between part and parcel living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can understand the nature of the Supreme by thorough study of oneself, the difference between oneself and the Supreme Being, understood as the relationship between the part and the whole. In the Vedanta Sutras, as well as in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by superior and inferior natural sequences. The living entity belongs to the superior nature, as will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as supreme, and the energy or nature is accepted as the subordinate. The relationship of the living entities, therefore, is always to be subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as with master and the servant, or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to grasp under the spell of ignorance. To drive away such ignorance, the Lord teaches the Bhagavad Gita for enlightenment of all beings for all time. 17. That which pervades the body is indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul.
Now prevails the body. That is consciousness. The soul is very small. But just like you take 1 grain of what is called poison, snake poison, arsenic poison called, what is called?
Venom.
Huh?
Venom.
Yes, venom poison.
Arsenic.
Huh?
Arsenic is...
Yes. You take only 1 grain and mix with water and just inject within your body. So immediately the action is there that your heart fails and you die. A small half grain of potash cyanide you take, just touch on the tongue. According to the chemists, there is no taste of potash cyanide. Because what is this, whether it is sour or sweet, because there was no chance of tasting it. As soon as the taste is, the man is finished. He cannot say what is this, sour or sweet. So, if a material thing, a small particle, has got so much power that immediately can stop the function of the body, immediately spreads all over the body. So, the soul, the spiritual spark, grain, a small grain, just like atom, is so powerful that so long is that spiritual grain, the spirit is in the heart, this body is so nice. As soon as it is passed, immediately body begins to decompose. Immediately. So it is so powerful, if a material thing can spread all over the body, why not the spirit? This is consciousness. Because the spirit soul is within the heart, I can pinch any part of my body, I feel. This is consciousness. This is consciousness. So, because just like the effect of a poisonous grain, a material thing, is immediately felt all over the body. Similarly, by the consciousness which is spreading all over the body, you can understand that there is soul.
This verse more clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is consciousness. Everyone is conscious about the pains and pleasures of the body in part, or as a whole. The spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pain
This consciousness, the Mayavadi philosopher says, yes, I am consciousness, the same theory, this small consciousness, but as soon as I break this body, this small consciousness will mix up with the supreme consciousness. That is their theory. But anyway, whatever that theory may be, at least in my present condition, my consciousness is limited within this body. If a person is actually executing devotional service, then he must be happy. If he is not happy, then he is not doing properly. The first thing is this. He might be doing something in the name of devotional service. If he is actually rendering devotional service, then he must be feeling, just like if you are eating actually, then you must feel strength and satisfaction of your hunger. You cannot say, I am eating, but I am not satisfied of my hunger. That is impossible. This is not possible. Then you are not eating. Or you are eating, but it is being devoured by the worms within your intestines. Sometimes it happens. If there are many worms within the intestines, you go on voraciously eating, but you don't get strength. Because the eating substance, the essence is taken by the worms. Therefore the worm treatment is there, to kill the worms. Otherwise they will eat everything. You will feel hungry, but will not get any strength. This is the worm disease. So, if I am actually rendering devotional service and I am not getting any happiness, that means there is some Maya's play. Otherwise there is no such reason. He must feel happy. Then he has to rectify the process of his service. Not to change, but rectify the process. What is that? It cannot be. If you are actually executing devotional service, you must feel happy. If you don't feel happy, then you are not executing. There is some flaw. Yes.
How can we women raise their children in Krishna consciousness? This seems to be an indirect service for Krishna. Should they try to serve him more directly by, maybe cooking in a temple or painting or something like this more directly, or is raising children and just having the household functions, is that enough service? Is there ever enough service?
Yeah, the thing is, we should be Krishna conscious. Just like electrification, touching electricity by one wire, another joining another wire. If the touch is there, factual, then the electricity is everywhere. Similarly, if our Krishna consciousness is lightly connected, then there is no question of direct or indirect. Because absolute world, there is no difference. As soon as it is touched with the direct connection, that is called disciplic succession. Because the connection is coming down one after another. So if we touch here, the spiritual master who is connected by the same way, then the electric connection is there. There is no question of direct or indirect. Evam parampara praptam imang rajasaya vidu. Simply we have to see whether the connection is disconnected. If the connection is there tight, then the electricity will come without fail. So in our conditioned stage, there will be so many doubts, so many implications, but the same thing as I gave you example, that don't be very much hasty to receive the result immediately. Simply we have to follow. We have to follow tat tat karma pravartanat. This is advised by Rupa Goswami. The 6 things we have to take particular care, and 6 things we have to avoid in order to be perfect in Krishna consciousness. So, utsahat, dhoijyat, nishchayat. The first principle is one must be very enthusiastic. He must believe that Krishna has said that nami bhakta pranasyati. My devotee will never be vanquished. So, let me become Krishna's devotee, sincere. I must become Krishna's devotee, sincere. This is called enthusiasm. Then, dhaijya. I have become Krishna's devotee, but still I am not feeling happy. How is that? So therefore you have to become patient. The enthusiasm must be there, you must be patient also. And nishchaya. Nishchayat means you must be confident. Krishna has said that his devotee will never be vanquished, so surely I shall not be vanquished, even though I don't feel now. Let me do my duty. Utsahat, dhaijyat, nishchayat, tat tat karma pravartanat. But you have to do your duties as they are prescribed. Sato vritte, there should be no duplicity. Or sato vritte means plain dealing, straight dealing. Sato vritte and sadhu sangha, and in the company of devotees. So one must be enthusiastic, one must be patient, one must be confident, one must execute the duties, one must associate with devotees, and one must be very honest in dealing. 6 things. If these 6 things are there, sure success. Similarly, there are 6 things which should be avoided. What are those? Utyahara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagraha lulam janasangascha sarabhi bhakti pranasyati. Utyahara, too much eating or too much keeping bank balance or money, or collecting more than the necessities. Utyahara is generally too much eating is prohibited. We have to eat simply just to keep the body and soul nicely, to execute Krishna consciousness. Utyahara prayasas. Prayas means taking some risky work which will require too much endeavor. We should avoid it. Utyahara prayasa prajalpa, nonsense talking, which has no connection with Krishna consciousness. Utyahara prayasa prajalpa niyamagraha, following the rules, but actually I'm not very much careful in executing the war. So, niyamagraha means not to accept the rules and regulation, and another meaning is to simply to accept the rules and regulation without good effect. Atyara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha, laulam, greediness, and janasangascha, and associating with non-devotees. These things are against execution of devotional service. And the first things, the patience, enthusiasm, and confidence, these 6 things are favorable. So we have to take notice of the don'ts and do's. Then it will be all right. Do this, don't do this. There are 6 kinds of don't do this and 6 kinds of do this. So that will be nice. Yes.
I have a question from Brahma Murthy. Why did people in the past ages sacrifice animals, and how did Krishna put a stop to this?
Oh, that I have explained just a few minutes before. The animals were put into the sacrificial fire. By Vedic mantra, he was given new life. But at the present moment, such expert priests and Brahmins are not available, therefore it is stopped. Animal sacrifice is stopped. Because it is Kali Yuga, nobody is reading and cultivating Vedic mantras. So, in this age, this mantra is called Maha Mantra, chant Hare Krishna, that's all. All Vedic mantras are now gone to hell. You see, nobody can properly chant Vedic mantras and take the benefit out of it. But this mantra, anyway you chant, neglectfully or properly chant Hare Krishna, and his result is there. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatirannatha. There is no other alternative, no other alternative, no other alternative. Kalu in this age. So, the Vedic mantra is now gone. This is also Vedic mantra, but this is Vedic Maha Mantra, the greatest of all mantras. Yes. So sacrifice everything and chant this mantra and go to Krishna, back to God. That's all.